Good morning, this is Jean here. I'm just going to be showing you what I was working on today. It's not necessarily a tutorial, but I just had this quilt top that I made. Actually, I made this about 12 years ago and I just found it, so I'm quilting it now. I'm going to be doing a feather quilting stitch, and this is what over here is what it's going to end up looking like in this corner block. I've already done this block, and I've done this stenciled feather bit over here, and that's just what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be showing you how I do this. I've already started quilting this quilt here. I got a bit bored, so I just wanted to pop over there and to start doing my feather stitching. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be coming over into this corner of my quilt, and what I do is I smooth it out. I've already started this bit here. I did that just freehand, as it were. This is free motion quilting on my machine. And if you've seen my other tutorials, you'll see that I actually use a stencil. This is the stencil I'm going to be using. And I'm going to be using this part. This is a 3-part stencil. So I'm going to be using this part of my stencil over on this corner here. And I'm going to position my stencil. You can see this part of my stencil, this feathered sort of quarter wreath, I'm going to put in the corner of my block. And as you've seen before, I use this called quilt pounce. Fabulous stuff. What it is, it's just a powder that's filled in this reservoir here that you get. And this is a sponge pad. You just fill it. And then what you do is, holding this very still, this part, you just smooth it over, or they say to pounce it, whichever, into the holes of your stencil. I just sort of scrub it across, making sure the stencil doesn't shift, and making sure the white powder gets on to the fabric itself. And you'll see the magic of the chalking. This chalk is wonderful. It pounces on and it blows right off. So there is my design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my quilt over to my machine, which has already been set in a free motion quilting stitch. As you've seen in my other video, I have my machine set at my free motion quilting stitch, and I have my free motion quilting foot on. So what else I'll do, I'll just start here, and I'll pull my threads up, bring the bottom up, and I'll start free motion quilting. This is so much fun. Takes tons of practice, just on that white line. And with free motion quilting, you have to go back. Let me just get rid of this. Let me get rid of that right there. You have to go back on yourself. And since this is white thread on green fabric, you'll be able to see, but I go a little bit off sometimes, but it's okay. So I just follow that feather stitching around, and I just do both sides. Going back, coming back on that feather that's already chalked. And actually, if you can notice, the chalk is almost disappearing as I'm quilting. So you can't mark an entire quilt top with this method. You just mark a section at a time. So I'm just filling in this feather stitching, holding my fabric on that white line. As you see, it looks very complicated, but my goodness, it works up so, oops, that's a little bit wonky, that's okay. It works up very quickly. Again, free motion quilting is a completely different animal than hand quilting, obviously. The trick is when you can practice it, practice, getting your stitch length fairly consistent. That's the whole bit with free motion quilting. Because the machine is doing nothing. My needle is just going up and down. And I am the stitch regulator. I am moving the fabric, if you notice. Not the machine. I'm coming up. Going back down. I love stencils because it takes the guesswork out of me having to try to figure out where to go with my free motion quilting. It's already done. I come over here. I notice I haven't done this bit, so I'll just go back. I go back to that center one, come down, fill it in. It's not perfect, it's okay. I come around here. And this quite effective, pretty, feathered corner is almost done. Filling in this block very quickly and very effectively, if not easy. I know it's not easy. I go back down to sort of fill in this stem here, and I go back up because it's a little bit wonky over here. Just go back up, and then I'm done my one corner of my block. So what I'll be doing is I'll be filling in this corner, and then this corner, and then this corner, and then as you can see, what I would be doing with this applique, I'm just going to echo stitch it, and here is my block. No, here's my block that's finished already over here. As you can see, I just did an echo stitch around this and then just in here. Very quickly, with a lot of practice, that's what I'm doing today. So maybe I'll show you my finished quilt when I'm done. All right, thanks for watching.